Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I have this video from LV Nation. I know some of you guys were saying, to try different reactions to different podcasters. And so I wanted to do mine with his. I know he's not as big as like Tim Pool, the Black Conservatives, Hodge Twins, yada, yada, yada. But he's still really good. I remember when he first started. I actually was one of his first subscribers, and I think there was like five of us at the time. But I would always give him like what you guys do for me, I was doing for him. Like I'd be like, hey, check out this person, here's their link. Check out this person, here's their link. So that he could get a good understanding of what he was getting into and be able to react to these things and give his own personal insider opinion on the way he felt it was to him and his lifestyle or his thoughts, because we're all different people and we all have different walks of life. So I thought it was a good way to introduce them to this world. But, so now we get to, well, I guess you could say we came full circle because now I get to react to his videos. Well, this is his video for about CNN surrenders to Trump as they backtrack Epstein claim live on air. So let's go ahead and jump right into the video.
So I'm sure everybody has heard what's been happening with the Epstein files. Apparently, there were 23,000 new letters, emails, and a whole bunch of things that came out. And Democrats are trying to use this against President Trump. And they have clearly have guests and a whole bunch of people come on CNN saying some wild things about President Trump, that he was a pedo, that he was on the Epstein Island, that he did this with his minor age. There are some wild claims. And now CNN. Wow, CNN is so petrified of a lawsuit that they are now fully exonerating President Trump of any wrongdoing with this whole Epstein stuff. And I just want you to hear what they got to say because, again, they don't want to be sued. Trump has already sued the BBC. He's already sued ABC. He sued everybody because of what's coming out with these Epstein files. What is the story? I would love for all the files to come out, but what are the Democrats doing? They are redacting names. They are trying to control the narrative now that the shutdown is over. Just take a listen to how petrified CNN is right here.
That mentioned the president. And we do want to be clear, the president, Trump, did not receive or send any of the messages, which largely predated his time as president. He's not been accused of any criminal wrongdoing in connection with Epstein or Maxwell. The White House.
So they had to do a whole read. As you can see, she had to read that out loud because everything's out of control right now. Everybody is out of control with the Epstein news, and they are again trying to use this. And now CNN has to go back.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you watch The View and they have to do the legal note because they make these outlandish claims. And I get wanting to be hyperbolic because sometimes I go on crazy tangents and say things that at the time I think are truthful or feel like I want to make a point, but it's better to be honest. And like I said, guys, I love you guys so much for being a part of my little channel, and I appreciate you guys so much because some of you guys give me really good feedback, and I really want to take all this feedback in to make myself better. And that's kind of how you guys are kind of my little Lego notes, So whenever I come across something that maybe I misspoke or I had this one particular mindset, when I go look into what you guys are suggesting, I'm like, oh, okay, this is what this means and this is what that means. Let me go ahead going forward, use that language or insert into where I need to. And CNN, on the other hand, and The View, they just keep talking and they know they're being untruthful and they don't care. But now, because Trump has been very successful at suing a lot of these media for defamation, now they're running scared. Now they're kind of walking on eggshells. Now, I don't feel like any media should have to feel that way. But then again, the media should be holding themselves to a higher standard because they're supposed to be giving an unbiased truth, not picking sides. And if you're going to do that, then you need to say, this is my opinion, and explain why you think that way or feel that way. But instead of saying oh, this is hard facts, these are truths, like, no, you can't do that. You can't claim to be a news channel. You might as well just say you're WWE then at that point, you know? But let's keep going.
And read. They had to read this in front of the world in order to not be sued for saying some wild stuff. What are some of the wild stuff? Well, I got something that is happening right now. CNN calls out Crockett for the Epstein redaction. They're even calling out their guests because, again, they don't want to be sued. I actually got to show you this for what they did with Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett has been one of the people that they have been trying to push this. And there was a name that was redacted of a young lady who apparently spent some time with Trump alone when she was underage. And apparently, this is the same lady who had passed from unaliving herself. And there is so much backstory to this, but you can tell CNN is already panicking by having Jasmine Crockett on air speaking about this. Take a listen.
This is an email from April 2nd, 2011. Republicans are saying that that victim is Virginia Giuffre. As you know, she died by suicide. She's been very outspoken.
Which I believe that the original documentation was put out and did show that who it was from. The thing is that it wasn't redacted by Republicans. This was redacted by Democrats. They purposely took out the person's name and wrote victim in big old bold letters. They did that on purpose so that they could try to push a specific narrative, because she actually exonerated him, saying like she never saw him do anything. She never, he never did anything with her. Everything that she was saying was basically made him look really innocent, which is what the Democrats hated. And I personally think, like, you had Biden in office for 4 years, and everything was, I believe, almost everything was owned by the Democrats. Why didn't they release it then? If they had this as a smoking gun where they say, oh, we have pictures, videos, blah, 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 why wasn't that the first suit to go out? Because they had nothing. Because they're just trying to manipulate people, again, pull at people's heartstrings. And this is why Donald Trump calls it a hoax. Now, he's not, I'm not inside his head, okay, guys? But my thought process is that when he's saying, like, oh, the Epstein files is a hoax, I think he's talking and referring to them trying to push the narrative of him being part of that, participating in that. I do think he uses the wrong language, because he shouldn't be saying that the Epstein files are a hoax, because there are real victims there. This is where I don't agree with him. But he could say what they're trying to say about me is a hoax, so that this way he can differentiate between the two while still garnering respect for the victims. But that's my personal opinion.
Victim of Jeffrey Epstein. Here's the email right here on your screen. She wrote a book, as you know, and she did not accuse him of any wrongdoing. What do you make of that? And can you confirm that?
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, it's redacted who the victim is, so I won't necessarily take the Republicans' word on who it is that's redacted. And I don't know why they would necessarily redact someone's name who is deceased at this point.
The Democrats did that, though. The Democrats redacted.
No. I understand.
The Democrats did that. Wow. They are walking everything back. They don't care if it's Jasmine Crockett or not.
Okay. But I'm just saying, like, our biggest concern is to actually make sure that we are protecting victims. And obviously, she wrote a book. She told her truth.
So again, they made her walk back. The redaction, which the Democrats did, they did that. The Republicans are saying that the woman who did the redactions already said that Trump didn't do anything with her. So again, CNN, in the midst of all of this reporting coming out. But there is another thing that's really happening that you heard from Jasmine Crockett, is that they're trying to protect these victims, and they're the ones trying to take charge of all of this, which is just wild, because we, people who were voting in 2024, were the ones that said, we got to release all this stuff. Why haven't the Democrats done it? And now the Democrats are trying to use all of this.
And I believe, some other podcasters had explained the reasoning behind it, because it is a bunch of probably powerful people, and it coming out can sink, our economy. Me personally, I say, F it, release it, let the chips fall where they lie, because I feel like our country is a strong country, and I think it would bounce back. And I think that having you release it will actually fulfill the American spirit and show more patriotism, because we would have undeniable truth and facts about who did what, and then we can hold those people accountable. And I think this is why a lot of Trump supporters and a lot of people on the right and a lot of people that did vote for Trump that weren't Trump supporters or MAGA feel like, you said you guys were going to release it. It doesn't matter if there's no there. Just release it and let us decide for ourselves what is there, what we feel is important. Now, I'm not saying to release it. Like, I know one of the first bills the senators had, they had to correct the language because it was just saying that they were going to release everything. And I understand why Congress kind of shut it down, because you don't want to release photos or videos of children doing, having horrible things done to them. So I understand, redacting some of that stuff, which is why they changed the language, and they want to put it to a vote now, because they updated the language to be able to redact like stuff like that, but still release everything unredacted, minus, like the pictures, the videos, or like even the victims that were underage, like their name. But like, I understand having those things redacted, but releasing the whole thing, releasing who actually were the bad guys, I think that that's something that needs to be just sent out and let the American people decide how they feel about it.
As a way, again, to entrap Trump. Is it? Trump says it's a hoax, which I don't like. I say, let's release all of it. Let's figure this out. But there is something happening. Again, something deeper happening with the Democrats. Just like the shutdown, are they using the victims as leverage to get the people to turn on Trump before the midterms? What is the plan? Well, Tim Burchett, and again, somebody correct me if this is not true. This has 4.2 million views of Tim Burchett in the press office saying that he tried to release the Epstein files today, and the Democrats blocked it. What is happening? He wanted to release it today. Ro Khanna, Thomas Massey, they want to release it. What in the world is happening with the Epstein debacle and files? Why are Democrats solely trying to use it against Trump? And why are people not working together to just release everything and every name that is on there? Take a look.
Hey, everybody. Tim Burchett in Washington, D.C. today, of course, trying to open up the government. But I tried to make them release the Epstein files, and I was blocked by the Democrats. This is all gamesmanship, folks. It's not about releasing the files. If they had something on Trump, they would have released it. But Biden had it for 4 years, and they hate Trump more than anything in the world. And so now they blocked it, and so they can piecemeal the truth and the half-truths, both sides of what really went down with Epstein. And it's kind of disgusting, really. But well, I tried. That's all I can tell you.
So that's Tim Burchett, representative, says that he tried his best, and he said it yesterday as well. He said it today. He said it yesterday. He said it the day before yesterday. So what is the story here? I actually saw this interesting piece here from Fox. So we're going to go from CNN. We're going to go to Fox and see what is happening, because it's being called a hoax. Now, we know that Epstein was a bad man. There's no hoax there. But where is the hoax? What is the hoax? Take a listen.
Bombshell. The Jeffrey Epstein emails. Congress is dumping thousands of documents, and Democrats are using them to frame Trump. But we've been combing through them and can't find anything nailing Trump. Even Axios says the emails contained no real smoking gun. The files do show Epstein's deep ties to liberals, like anti-Trump author Michael Wolff. He colluded with.
It also showed Epstein's disdain and hatred towards Trump. If anything, it's like you guys are saying like this horrible man hated Trump. Which is funny, because it's like, okay, how's that a bad thing that you had a pedo that didn't like somebody? But let's keep going.
Epstein on how to blackmail Trump. Wolff told Epstein in 2015, if you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the House, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. Why is Wolff giving a pedophile PR advice? and coaching him to take down the president. That wasn't the only writer Epstein colluded with. A New York Times reporter gave Epstein a heads up that a former cop was investigating him for a book. That reporter was pushed out of the company after they found he asked Epstein for a $30,000 donation. Larry Summers, who worked for Bill Clinton and Obama, was also pen pals with Epstein. He was asking him for tips on women. Who goes to Jeffrey Epstein for dating advice? Epstein didn't just have ties to the Democrats and the media, he had foreign connections. Before Trump met Putin in 2018, Epstein was pitching himself to the Kremlin, saying he could give Russia insight on Trump, which is weird because if the Kremlin was controlling Trump like the Democrats accused him, why did they need insight? He wasn't just any old rich American. He was well connected to top players all over the world, from Israel to Saudi Arabia. And it wasn't a secret. Epstein went to Clinton's White House 17 times. And Slick Willie was a frequent flyer on the so-called Lolita Express. Clinton and Epstein seemed like pals. But when it comes to Trump, Jeffrey had TDS. I have met some very bad people, none as bad as Trump. Not one decent cell in his body. Trump should wear that like a badge of honor. The slimiest guy in the world hating you is a good thing.
So let me get this straight. So the stuff that comes out, the Democrats say that Jeffrey Epstein and Trump were best friends. And now from these emails and reports that he had TDS, he did not like Donald Trump. So which one is it? Which one is it? You have CNN walking back everything that a lot of these Democrats have been proclaiming, a lot of these channels have been proclaiming. Which is the story? If you have the super proof that this is the truth, I'll accept it and I'll walk away. I'll walk away. If you told me that Trump was doing some wild stuff with you know what, and it gets that deep, I'll walk away, no problem. But what is the reasoning behind the redactions? What is the reasoning? Like, is it Epstein the bad guy? Is Trump the bad? Who's the bad guy? Because in these reports, it says that Epstein says that Trump didn't have a good cell in his body. And it's so wild because this is how crazy it's getting, right? This was reported earlier, right? Nick Sorters reported this. He says, breaking, the official X account of the Democrat Party has deleted their post claiming President Trump spent Thanksgiving with Jeffrey Epstein in 2017. They deleted this post. He was literally the president, dumbasses. You don't think someone would have noticed? Trump should bankrupt the DMC. So now they're deleting all of this stuff. I mean, this is pretty crazy. Look, this was the day, apparently, thrilled to spend our Thanksgiving with local Coast Guard in Florida. So apparently they found where Trump was at that day. So again, like if they have the proof, please just show us. Show us the proof. Show us everything. Don't just do like I don't care. I will accept it for what it is. I would do exactly what I would do if like, but please just show us. Don't just half-ass it and like not show everybody the actual proof that Trump did some of the wildest things that you can imagine. Because I'm pretty sure, and I'm just being honest, I'm pretty sure if they did have that, they would have already released that a long time ago. So all the stuff that they have, all these people in other people's DMs and the comments, like Trump is he was on the island, he was all this. That's why you have CNN legitimately right before the show
that mentioned the president. And we do want to be clear, the president, Trump, did not receive or send any of the messages, which largely predated his time as president. He's not been accused of any criminal wrongdoing in connection with Epstein or Maxwell.
Boom. That sounds like an apology, and it sounds like, wait a minute. You guys are jumping the gun. You guys are trying to use this. We get it. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, please don't do it here because we don't want to be sued. We don't want to be sued. So, excuse me. So again, please, someone help me. What's the story that the Democrats are trying to tell here? Where is the proof? Release all of it. I think there's like an 80% chance that everything is going to get released. I can't wait. We'll go through it ourselves and we'll figure it out from there. But yeah, I would really love to see what's happening.
So that's from LV Nation. Go ahead and like and subscribe to him and tell him I said what's up in the chat. But he actually, like I said before, he's getting really good at discussing all this and asking questions. When it comes to the Epstein files, like I said before, if Trump is in it, then we need to make sure we're holding him accountable, just like anybody else that's in there who did anything bad. Now, if he's not in it, and I believe like the stuff that was released basically showed that he had no ties to him. The victims even said Trump never did anything with them. Then find something else, bro. Like, let's go ahead and release this. Let's hold all the people that did bad things accountable. But the Democrats are just trying to use this to push in a like ideology, or like they're just trying to push a narrative. There you go. Because they don't have anything to push against him and nothing to run on. So they want to, because obviously saying I hate Trump is not working no more. Saying, like, oh, we need to stop Trump. We need to stop this, that, and the other. Every turn that these Democrats do, it's just he's right in their face, So they're trying to find something that's going to stick to help them with the midterms. And the midterms, I could tell you this right now, just foreseeing what we're going through right now, man, it's going to get crazy when that starts ramping up. And you'll probably see a lot more videos from me talking about that because, yeah, it's just going to get more and more insane. And that's only if we don't go into Civil War or World War III before then. Or we don't get attacked by aliens. How about that? I know my guy is hoping for a zombie apocalypse, which, no thank you. I'm good without that one. I don't like zombies. But that's neither here nor there, guys. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the Epstein files? Do you think that they should release them? Do you think, the reason Trump is like calling it a hoax is because he's trying to pregame so that if anything does come out with his name that he can deny it? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Till next time, guys.